All right, welcome to this video. I wanted to do this video real quick with Eric here. A lot of people have been interested in his trading strategy. I brought Eric into IML almost a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half now.
About a year and a half ago. And, and he's really got into the idea of, of helping people, really helping people trade and be successful in IML on the trading side. And he's developed, a lot of people have developed, strategies that tie into the products, and Eric's no different. He fell in love with the harmonic scanner pretty much right away. And he's had certain, ways of trading that he kind of adapted to the harmonic scanner, and he's getting just amazing results. So Eric wanted to put together a video real quick where he can teach you the strategy, and get this out to as many people as possible. So I want to thank you, Eric, definitely for doing that and sharing the story and helping people out.
Hey, I'm happy. I'm happy you want to do this. I mean, it's exciting for me because I think by trade, I'm an educator. I like to teach people to do what I'm doing. Like I say, I've been blessed in trading for so many years. And this is a strategy that's worked consistently for a long time on my own efforts. And then I took it and blended it into the harmonic scanner, and I've never looked back. So it's been great.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I've been trading for 10 years myself, and, first 5 years unsuccessfully. The next 5 years, I've done really good. And, and I've adapted some of that stuff. I've never used the SAR, which everybody's going to learn about here in a moment, and a couple of the other things, and I've integrated into what I already do, and I use the harmonic scanner as well. I love that thing. I love being handed trades on a silver platter, and then just look at some indicators, to get in, because I'm at a point in my life where I don't really want to spend a whole lot of times on the charts. I'm building a few different businesses. I'm a single dad to a 15-year-old daughter. So, I'm an Uber dad, 80% of my life, running her around. So it's just nice to have an alert come to my phone, and telling me there's a new scan, and just applying these strategies, and get into them.
Right.
It's powerful stuff.
I totally agree with you, because when I first started trading on a lot shorter time frames, and it just became, it was a hassle. It was, you're always looking at your charts, or you're always trying to study for the next move, and you're always worried about. And now how I trade is so simple, because, I more or less, that saying they say, set it and forget it. Well, that's technically what I do when I use the SARs and how I have everything set up, and using the daily chart for my trend and my 4 hours for my entry. I mean, and then I just monitor everything literally from my phone, and it sure has made my life a lot easier. But I'm also banking, a lot of pips a week doing this, stacking my trades in there accordingly based upon the harmonic scanner. Pretty simple. And that's what I do. And I'll, stack up multiple trades, and as they go in my favor and they hit my target, and if they're not at my target and I see maybe a potential reversal happening, I'll go in and close out a block of them, and I capture all those pips, and then I'll structure my next ones and just keep doing it over and over and over again. So
awesome.
It's simplified my life. So I agree with what you were saying there. Everybody has to find something that works for them, and that's what's worked for me for so long.
All right, awesome. Well, let's dig right into it.
Okay.
Share your screen, and he's going to show us some slides, and then we're going to go to some charts. So,
absolutely. So,
hey, it's working.
Got it. Okay.
We're there. Yes.
All right. We'll make this work yet. Okay. So, what happens? I had a lot of people that have asked me about my strategy, and I finally just got to the point. I was like, I'm gonna offer this to everybody so they can see what I do. So I went in and I created what I call the red light and green light strategy. Just to simplify, that's what I call it. It doesn't mean that's what it is, but it's a combination of indicators that kind of gives you that idea. Okay, it's a red light and a green light. So how I set things up, and I'll go through the PowerPoint first so we can see that, and then I'll actually do the setting it up on the chart so you guys can see how I do that and how I blend it in with the harmonic scanner. So first off, always, you know, I always put the disclaimer up, hey, you know, the risk level, there's risk in everything, but there's risk in trading, and, you know, you don't want to trade with money you aren't willing to lose and things. So I put the risk disclaimer on here. And then, so the first indicator that I put on the chart is the 50-day moving average. Let me tell you why. The 50-day moving average is typically where you get a movement, you'll get a movement up, and then you'll get a movement down. And the 50-day moving average is always kind of the center point. And the 50-day moving average is also the way Christopher Terry sets up his Bollinger Bands, is always the center point. So I created that because I've always used the 50-day moving average in combination with the 20-day and the 10-day moving average for reversal. So the first indicator I put on my chart, on a blank chart, is the 50-day moving average. I insert that first. The next one is the 20-day moving average, which I make it orange so I can see where the crossover will happen for a continuation through the 50-day to a continuation to a lower low. But I also know that, hey, if that's starting to turn, you know, this is my focus is this momentum here to this trade, to this 50-day moving average. I go to, and then I add a 10-day moving average as well, so that I get a clear picture of the reversal starting to form. It's starting to arch. I get a reversal down to that 50-day moving average. Now understand, on a daily chart, you know, this is 300 to 400 pips you're looking at going down to this in a few days. So capturing those on multiple pairs, you guys, you're looking at an enormous amount of pips on a weekly basis. You know, I mean, I've had weeks, just as of recently, the last couple of weeks, I had an 1,800 pip week. You know, I mean, that's unheard of in trading.
Nice.
But, you know, because I set it up this way, I do multiple pairs, you're capturing that move. So that's the setup on the moving averages. Now I'll get into the SARs. So the SAR is a parabolic stop and reversal, or I call the SAR PSAR for position stop and reversal. Okay. So I set it up in a combination of an overlap. I overlap them. I start out with a 0.06 with a 0.2 on the maximum with the red. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense to everybody right now, but what that means is that is when the lower and the higher support levels are broken on the candle. That's when it will set up, and so I do a deviation and offset there. So the first one I set up is the 0.06 on a red, and I adjust the width of it so it stands out a little bit. So this is our red light. Okay, this is what I set up on the chart for when this pops up first. This goes on my watch list, because if everything else lines up, these are the trades I'm going to watch. So you'll see I'll add that, and there it is on the chart now. So that's the red light. So when you get the reversal of the candle coming down and breaking this level here, it will flip and put the dot at the top. That's the red light. Okay, now we're going to go into the green. Green is a deviation, basically a step of 0.03 green with a 0.2, and then I adjust the width on that as well. Once it's set like that, you don't have to change anything else. You add it, and there it is. So what happens is when you get a flip, your first thing that you're going to get is you're going to get the red light. Red light, watch list. So that's when I put on the watch list. As soon as I get the red with the green, that's my entry point. Reason why is because the candle has gone down and broken another support level, and usually at that point, then you'll get a momentum down to your move. Just like down here, you'll get a cross. We didn't have the red light first on this. We did get a green, so it means it broke this higher high here again. As soon as I had the red and the green, there's my trade there. Comes up. You know, this is consolidated here. I would avoid that. I'd look for a better trade. I'd be looking at potentially this reversal here back up to the 50. So yeah, that's just how I do that. Now, adding to this, I've never done it before how Chris was teaching in the harmonics in the back office. That's why IML is so important. I learned things. You guys, you know, I'm a 20-year trader, and I learned something from another professional trader in what he looks for. And I blended it into what I was doing, and it's absolutely changed my trading entries. So I add that now. So when I go into the Bollinger Band period of 50, deviation of 2. He teaches 2.5. I start with 2 because it's for me, a little bit more accurate. I can see that we're hitting those levels. So I hit that, I add that in. So now I can see as I'm pressing up into these Bollingers or the lower Bollingers, when we get that reversal, we know we're going to get a nice move. And I use Bollingers, I explain them like rubber bands. You're stretching them and stretching them and stretching them and stretching them, and eventually they're going to come back together. And so by using a combination typically of 3 of these, I can see how deep we're stretching into those Bollingers for a reversal to happen. Now understand, the further away that this Bollinger gets stretched, the harder the recovery is down to the 50. Does that make sense? So when you get the move down to here, all of a sudden you'll get a stronger recovery back up to here, just like it's forming here. You're getting a very strong pull on that Bollinger. We're going to get a bigger recovery. And matter of fact, that recovery took place this week. It's in the process of moving that direction right now on the pound Canadian. So then we go in and we add now we add another band now at 2.5. 2.5, it lays in here. So now you can see we broke through the one, we've stretched into the second band here. Once you start stretching into the other bands, it's a stronger recovery. Then I add another band, I add the 3.0 with 50 period, and now we have our 3 bands set up. So we get the into these upper and these lower bands. All right. Now we go into setting up. That has completed what I call the upper chart. Now I'm going to create the lower charts, which is the MACD, the RSI, and the stochastics. So I set up the MACD at 12, 26, and 9. I go in and you can change the colors to whatever works for you guys, but I like the red and I like with the silver on like the histogram itself as it's moving. So let me explain this. So how I blend these together is when you get a reversal like this, it's formed, and I'm getting where the gray lines are closing below the momentum here. As the momentum shifts, you can see we're looking for a reversal. Just like here, when we get the lines increasing, which is the momentum is shifting now, then we're looking for these moves. This was just a small move here. If somebody caught that, it's still a few hundred pips. And now we're starting to look like, hey, we got the lines are starting to move above, so we're looking to go up to here. So if you also notice, as the Bollinger Bands have gone in, this line has changed colors. You can change that back to blue. But I just leave it in orange because I've done it for so long. I know where that's at. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the stochastics to this. Likewise, you can change the colors. I recommend that so you know that they're separate from each other. I do 25, 8, and 6 on the stochastic, showing my reversals. So now I blend them together with the MACD. It's just a crossover. It's a confirmation that the momentum is shifting. Like down here, it's a confirmation the momentum is shifting. Same with here, same with here. So it's just an added indicator. Now, off of the red light, the green light like this, you can go in and pretty much just do that. But I like to have at least 5 points of confirmation. You know, I teach people, be very, very patient until you have the setups. Always have at least the five setups before you're going to go in and put the odds in your favor. And then the last thing I add is the RSI at 10. A lot of people do it at 14. I find I like 10 because I get my flip a little quicker. Now the RSI stands for Relative Strength Indicator. It is what a lot of institutions and things go off for, institutional money flowing in and money coming out of the pair. So the RSI is a big indicator for that, of the strength of the momentum. Once you see the flip form, then you know that the momentum is starting to shift. I add that to the chart, which is this line. It can be a little bit choppy. I like it as a 10. So I use it anytime it goes above the 70. I know I'm overbought. Anytime it goes down and goes below the 30 here, which is right here, then I'm oversold. So I use that in combination of up and down and up and down and up and down. So that's how I structure the chart, you guys. I mean, it's not overly complicated. It takes a little practice so you can see what you're looking for. And, from that point, it's fairly easy as you build this. You'll get used to seeing the same patterns over and over and over again. Now, you can do these on lower time frames as well. I do daily for trend. I do 4 hour for entry. I've got a couple buddies that are using it on 1 hour, and they're killing it on 1 hour. So I just don't trade off the 1 hour. That's, for me, is like scalping. anything 4 hour or less is in my world is noise. So I like I like time. I like movement. I don't worry about it. So here's also the setups. Again, I did it so I know people are very visual. This is the setups, the Bollinger 50 and 2 and 50 and 2.5 and 50 and 3. And then I put in the moving averages here. Also the SARS, their MACD, stochastic, and the RSI. You can cut and paste that and send that out to people. Now, I use this is a free app I use because this helps you determine your flips, you guys. So Easy Indicators, Easy SAR. It's a free app that you can put on your phone, and you can set it up to watch and monitor certain pairs you like. And when you get the flips on the red light, this will determine when those flips happen. So if I'm out running around and I'm not in front of my computer, I don't have to watch it. I can just wait till my alert pops up on my phone. Bingo, there it is. And then wherever I'm at, I can just make a little list in my phone and say, okay, watch this one, watch that one, watch this one, watch that one. And, I set it up on the 4 hour and the daily. So it monitors the 4 hours and the dailies. So I can see when those flips are starting to happen. Now understand, when I get into a trend on a 4 hour, it's with the trend of the daily. If I get into a trend on a 4 hour on short, it's with the downward trend on the daily. So I'm doubling up on confirmation that momentum is moving one direction or moving up. I use this application to do strictly that, and it's a wonderful app. I've made a lot of money using this thing, and I love it. So
yeah, that's a pretty good thing. I never knew about this app. The way I was doing it was, TradingView.
Right.
So what I did with that is I put a 3 moving average, so it was basically right on top of price. And
right.
then I went in and set the alarm and said, okay, when the SAR is above the moving average, send me alarm.
Yep.
When it flips below it, set me alarm. So that's how I was doing it. But
right.
App will be a little bit easier, I think.
It's so easy. What's neat, it just pops up on your screen, and it actually gives you, it gives you a list of pairs that you may want to follow. And so you can actually, put it on your watch list. And there's other apps that they have and things like that, but you can put it on your watch list so you can see that it's, I've got multiple pairs and I can follow any of these. And I just do it for the 4 hour and the daily. So no matter where I'm at, when it pops up, because daily gives you plenty of time. You don't have to make an immediate entry. You can, it more or less lets you start building that watch list as soon as then you get it and then you start stacking your trades.
You can set it for the green one too as well, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. You can set it you can actually go in and then adjust it so it will set up for different. So yes, you can do that. I just do it for the red. So when it pops up, and then my charts are identical on my phone as they are on my computer. So literally I can trade from my phone, you guys, just like I do from my computer, and I don't even have to be in front of it. I just can put my trade on. So that's that. And I put this on here. There's a description of how it works and the combinations and the minutes and things. So that's more or less that. And now what I can do now is I'd like to just set up the charts in front of you guys so you can see how it works. I use this. Well, this is how I overlap all these charts now on the harmonics. But let's build the chart first so you guys can see this. I'll actually go in and remove these things so you guys can see how
I'm still on the slide. I can still see the slides.
Okay. Let me go in here. Hold on just a second here.
Maybe unshare your screen and then reshare again.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Stop share.
Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go through and just remove these indicators, and we'll build them together.
Okay.
So make it easy for people to understand how to put it together, where to look for the inserts, things like that. Okay. Oops. Okay. So now we have just a blank chart, and then we just start building it now. So I go into the inserts, I go to the indicators, and then on trend, you're going to see here's the moving average. Once you click on it one time, it'll actually put it in the ones that you set up all the time. So I just click on that moving average, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to add this as a 50. and I always do it blue. And bam, there it is. Now, a lot of guys use a 200 as well. I mean, I know a lot of guys that are big institutional traders, they use a 200, and the 200 is really what the institutions follow. I like the 50 because I'm not in the trade long enough to care. You know, if you're in a trade for a year, then maybe a 200 is good. But I mean, you know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks at the very most. I've had some, though, I've been in for long because the momentum is just there. I mean, and I just let those run. I just follow them with a trailing stop. So that's the 50. Now let's go and we'll put the 20 in here. Same identical thing. Just click on just do it as a 20. I do it as orange. And you can, like I say, you can set these colors up however you guys want to. And then I do the 10 as well. Go in, same thing, moving average 10. I do it that magenta color. And so there's my moving averages now. And so you can see as this is a live chart on the pound yen right here too. So you can see, you know, as these turn, you get that momentum. We're starting to get a turn there, get the turn here. You'll even notice it more now as soon as I start adding the parabolics into it. So I go back here. Now the parabolics, same thing. They're under the trend. It says right here, the parabolic. Once you build your list, it will be in your upper list here. So I just go in, and there's my red at 0.06 already. So I just set it up that way, and I just add it, bam, and it goes in. And then I just going to add my green parabolic as well. And all I do is do the same thing. All I do is change this to 3, and then go over here, and then I just do it as line, like this. And there we go. So now we've got those added in there. And I really like this because this gives you a double confirmation on the movement. I was used to just do one. I was just doing the green, and you know, then I added the red, and it changed everything. Because sometimes when I was just doing one, I was getting false entries. And so now that I have confirmation of 2, then I knew that 2 lower support levels or 2 upper resistance levels were broken. And really, that after that happens, it clears a path for a continuation on a move.
Right.
So that's why I structured it that way. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So now there's that. So now we'll go in and we'll do the Bollinger Band. So the Bollinger Band, let's see, sorry, you go here to the same thing. It's the second one down. Same thing, it builds it here. I just do 50 at a 2.0. 2.0. And you just want to do it on close. And then pops it up. So see how notice how that covered the blue? You can actually go in if you want, and let me add this here. So you can go in and you can click on the left-hand side, and you can drag the custom moving average over. If you want to do this, you don't have to do it, but you can change it back to blue. Makes it a little easier. Just come in and just do the width as like that. Input 50 and a simple, and now you can overlap that. And when you overlap it, there it's back to blue. So you don't need to always do that, but you know, if you want to build your chart that way, you can. Now we're going to add another Bollinger Band. Same thing here. We're going to do this at 2.5 now. And then we'll just add a third one. Oops, doing that. 3.0. And I can't emphasize enough, you guys, to go into your back office and watch the videos on Chris doing the Bollinger Bands. Very, very good how he uses them for the entries. I mean, it's the best I've ever seen. So, okay, so that has completed now the upper chart. Let me do this. I'm going to change this color again so it doesn't get everybody confused. Oops. Okay. Now everybody can kind of just see that's the same. I just set it up. So once the Bollingers are set up, then I do that. Now that completes, like I said, the upper chart. Now let's start working on the lower. I just simply go in and indicator, and then we're going to add the MACD first. Now this is where it gets a little bit People can, I do 12-26-9. Some people do others, but I do 12-26-9. I like that. Color-wise, I do the gray, dim gray, and then the red, I make the width just a little bit bigger so it stands out. I just do the second width down, and then I add it. There's my lower chart now. And then I'm going to add my stochastics, doing the same thing, coming down here. Oh, but actually, you know what? Now, this is where a little trick is. I'll show you guys. You can build other windows, but I like to overlap the windows. So what you do is you come over here and click on your file, and you're going to see it will say stochastic on your left-hand side. You drag it over the lower, and you can build your lower window. So it's the same thing. So I do, let's see here. I do this as orange, and I do this as green. I guess I can do line for everybody. And then on the second here, I'm going to pull this up so I give you my straight. I tweak these around just a little bit, but I'm going to give you the ones that I have right now. I do 2586. I find that works a little bit better, and you get clearer reversals happening of that. And then I just click on it, and then it overlaps. I can make my width a little bit bigger, so you can go back in to your width just a little bit bigger. I do second one down, and then they stand out just a little bit more. Okay, like that. Now you can add the RSI, same exact thing. Just come over here to the left, you guys. Pull it over. I change this to 10. And then I do my colors as the Dodger blue, and then I just change my width to 2. And there we go. So now the charts are set up. That's all I do. And then you can actually go in. I have my bar here. And then you can go in and you can come up here and you can save it. Just save it here. And you can save it as a template. You just put in just SAR or Eric or Michael or whatever you want to do there.
Mine's called Eric.
Yeah, there you go. The Michael Eric. You can set it up that way, and then you save it, and then you can always just overlap it. I have it as different settings over here, but then you can overlap it, and then you can add it. So now you have this chart set up. You can create the same thing using the harmonic scanner, you guys. This is where everything changed for me. I was doing this strategy, monitoring 20 some odd pairs on my own. I had charts after charts. I'd have to wake up in the mornings and look at this and look at that, see what I missed. I didn't have the alerts like I do with the Easy SAR now and all that. So now with this, you guys, you can go in and you can create the same charts, identical same charts set up on your harmonics, and you can set it up for whatever time frames you want to do. I do the daily. That's really all I watch is the daily, but you can set it up so you have 4 hours as well. But you can see how well this works. This trade came out 8 days ago. When it came out, I put it on my watch list. It actually went green instead of red first. Typically it goes red first, but it went green first. So it went on my watch list as soon as I had both. That was my entry point. Now we're moving up to that 50-day moving average. You can see that momentum. We're above the 20. We still have the momentum is starting to build, and it's moving up to that 50-day moving average. So you can build, once you have your MT4 platform of your scanner up and running, all you guys got to do is follow that PowerPoint slide and add everything to this. You can do it on shorter time frames. You can do it on hourlies. Like I say, these guys are doing it on hourlies on the harmonic scanner, and they're killing it. I mean, they're doing 100 to 200 pip moves on an hourly time frames on the harmonic scanner using this strategy, this setup. And wow. It's amazing. Yeah, it really is. And just to see what these guys are doing, I'm proud of them. They're sticking in it, and the strategy works. Now, are you going to hit every trade? No, you're not going to hit every trade. So what you do is you take it when you get those 5 things set up. Make sure every one of those indicators shows good. Set it up, and then take that trade. And when you do, so let's say on this trade, if you were to enter this trade, you'd want to make sure that you stick your stop loss on the outside of the lower parabolics. That's what I do. I give up I give it the ability to run. Now, if it comes down and it bumps me out, guess what? It happens, you guys. If you do it on a 4 hour, you take a 50 pip loss, you take a 50 pip loss. If you take it on a daily, you hit 100 pips, and that happens. I'm not going to lie. I have hit 100 pip stop loss. But when the winners run, you guys, they're 300, 400, 500, 600 pip moves. These are massive, massive moves. And so you offset the 100 pips, but that's where money management is key. Make sure you stick with the money management. I always tell everybody, 0.01 max to 0.03 on every $1,000 that you're trading, you guys. Make sure you do that, because that way it gives you the ability, if you do have to take a stop loss, you hit a stop, and then you have the ability to stack up multiple trades. Like I said, I do 10, 12 trades at a time. I stack them all up in there, and I let them run. And I have a pretty good average of 80% of my trades are winners. This week alone, I only lost on one. I only had one loser this week, but I still banked. It was a slow week for me. 250 pips was slow in one account. And the other one, I think I did something like around 400 pips for the week.
Now, do you just take it right to the blue line? Is that where your profit comes off? Or?
Yep. And then my profit target is, now some guys, when they hit the 50-day moving average, the profit, that's where they'll sit there. They'll activate their trail stop. So if it hits that, they'll activate their trail stop, because it may run through that, blow through that to take profit 3 or the upper Bollinger. They do that. I personally do my 50-day, because typically my 50 days is profit number 2. It's always really close to profit number 2 on most of the trades. You go in here, you go historically back on this one. This was 35 days ago. You can see what I'm saying. You get the move. Here's your entry, goes against you, and then you catch that big move down. So I'd have probably been out, up in here if I just trailed it along. Lots of times, you guys, I trail them along, and I'll move my trailing stop along with my parabolics as it moves along in my favor. So I'll just grab it and drag it, grab it and drag it, grab it and drag it. The thing I always tell people too is, remember, the market for me is, I imagine like a balloon. It's a deflated balloon. It takes energy to blow up that balloon, you guys. So when you're going long on these, it takes time. Sometimes these moves to go long, if you notice this move to go long could be a lot more days than it is to go short. Once it goes short, it can be 3 or 4 days. They just collapse. And so I definitely trade way more shorts than I do longs. But when I see a short pop up, I just get excited, because I'm like, okay, we're ready to make some money, because I know the market is adjusting. We've hit these higher highs, and we know we're going to have a nice big move down or a trend down for a while. And I'll just set them and then just let them run. And, I'll keep my stop loss there, and I'll just drag my trail down, drag my trail down, drag my trail down. And my target is the 50-day. If it blows through that, great. I just drag it through it, and then I just keep following it down, and you pick up 400, 500, 600 hits on those moves.
Right. So. Right. Makes sense. Now, do you just go off the day, or do you go down to the 4 and find a way in to time it better, or?
Yeah. So for instance, and that's a great question, Michael, because like on the Euro Canadian, for instance, this trade was a trade I actually did. So what I do, I got to adjust my window. I don't know why it makes me do this, but oops, let me do this. Let me add it one more time. Okay. So then if I go in and I want to add, if I want to look at this on a 4 hour, I just simply click it to a 4 hour, and then I can see based on the 4 hour, the entry was down in here. So you get a little bit sweeter entry if you follow the 4 hour with the daily. I never trade against the trend. If the trend is starting to move up, my 4 hour will always be my entry point on that. So I can catch the sweetest little entry I can for that move.
So would you, for example, if it turns red on the daily, would you go down to the 4 hour and then wait for the red and the green, or?
Yep. You absolutely can do that. And that's something I've been playing with more and more on my entry points that way. And they're almost 100% dead on doing it that way. I mean, like I say, the guys that are doing the hourly, they're literally doing the same thing. They're watching the daily, the trend, they're watching the 4 hour, and then they're going in on the daily, and they're catching those. They're getting an earlier entry and catching more of the move. Right. Yeah, by going off the 1 hour. I don't trade that way, but they're doing it and having a massive success. Now, this is what's neat about this I'm seeing is there's a lot of great experienced traders in iMarkets Live. This strategy has worked well for me. Some of these guys, these young guys, they're very aggressive, and they're taking it around, and which does my heart good because they're looking and they're messing with it and they're finding better entries. And now they're coming back to me and teaching me little things. I've got some guys that are even using it on 5 minutes to scalp. I mean, they're scalping, little moves, 10, 15 pip moves, but they're doing that 15, 20, 25 times a day. I've never done that, you guys. So yeah, so it's amazing. I tell them, yeah, I've done 250 pips this week. They're like, I've done that in a day. I'm like, wow. Okay, good for you guys. But hey, more power to you. But yeah, it's the strategy works, and you can use it on basically any time. The 1 minute and the 5 minute, I don't recommend. I followed on the 15. You can still see you can get clean moves on the 15. If I lower it down, you can still get some clean moves down to that 50-day. You can get them. It's a little choppy. The 1 hour, this is where these guys they're playing these 1 hour, these moves coming down, going up, backing down. So, yeah, but I just think, for safe side, I like the longer term, because I like to go out and have fun, you guys. I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day worrying about, and then I just monitor it from my phone with my alert. So
yeah, the 4 hour for me is my sweet spot right now. Like I've got an alarm on my phone that goes off, every 4 hours for the candle. Yeah. And then I just go peek at the chart for 5 minutes. Do I see my setup? Yep. Nope. I just go on with my day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing with this harmonic scanner because it does all the work for you. You sit here and you look at this move. I know it's a little hard to see through all the digits there. Let me see if I can move this over. But you can see. Look at this move. It came up. You don't on the harmonic. You don't know where the reversal is going to take place. It could continue up higher and higher and higher, and then it takes you out on the stop loss. But if you're patient and you wait for the setup, there's your entry. Now, if you want to stay in these babies, look at this thing. I mean, you can get in that. It comes down, it blows through. That's 350 pips. It consolidates with a continuation down. I mean, you're talking over 1,000 pips on that one move right there in 46 days on one pair. And when you're trading, 5, 10, 20 lots, I trade 100 lots, sometimes up to all the way to 300 lots on a given trade. So I can stack those, load up on it, and then I just let that thing run. I can catch. That's why when I'm saying I'm in a trade for a long period of time as a swing trader, 46 days in the realm of things, that's really not that long when you have 10 trades all moving in your favor, and you figure out, okay, how many pips did it move this week? This is the amount of pips I've captured for the week, 500 pips, 600 pips, so it makes it feel good that your numbers are massive. So,
and guys, too, that we're watching this, there's also something else you can do that I do a lot is, the two things I use is harmonic scanner and then IML TV, Stevenson Lindor. What's cool about him is he goes through, he does all the work. He scans all 26, 30 pairs, and then he dwindles it down and says, and he works off the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour, and he knocks it down to the 3, 4, 5 pairs that he thinks are the best. So then those are the ones I watch, and I'll apply this strategy to, as well as the harmonic scanner. And sometimes they both pick off the same pair, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be a good one, and go nuts. So there's, you can use this towards other products in here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I've showed you 2 ways that I enter trades. One is off the Easy SAR, so it's monitoring all those pairs. And the other one's the harmonic scanner. I know that when the harmonic scanner gives me a good trade, I really watch those because those are massive moves. Because, it's telling you, hey, over the 15, 20 years, it's maxed out. It's either maxed out long or maxed out short based on the historicals. You're looking for a very big reversal coming. And so that's why when I get an alert on the harmonic scanner, I really, really, really watch those. And I take them and plug them on my wall. I'm watching those. So it may not happen in 2 or 3 or 4 days, but then once it does happen, it's there. You enter that, forget about it. Just let it go. And I trail the stock down with it and I just drag it down as it moves. It's not complicated trading. but it sure does work, Michael.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. You know, the most powerful things are the simplest things. You know, you just have to, you know, believe and trust in what you're doing.
That's right.
You got to believe and trust in the
right.
indicator. You know, you got to understand that you can do absolutely everything right and still lose. You know, and over time, you know, you're going to win more than you lose as long as you do you mentioned earlier, the proper money management, right? That's super.
Yeah.
And you combine all those winning strategy.
Yeah, you put the odds in your favor. And like I said, you're not going to hit every one, but when you hit, you know, for every loser, you're hitting 5, 6, 7 of them. You know, I mean, it adds up real fast. And, you know, with the proper money management, you're going to stay in the game a long, long time. And you can make a lot of money doing this. We've been running through our numbers, and it's amazing what you can do in a relatively short period of time with very small amounts of money doing this. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's insane.
Great.
All right, if you can stop, you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
I think we've got. I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to go over there?
I pretty much covered everything that I do. I mean, people can reach out to me if they have questions. I'm sure they reach out to you as well. You know, we're here to help them. I'm definitely here to help them. You know, I see what people are going through, and for what you get with this company, my gosh, I don't know how you can beat it. I really don't. So just being able to sit with as many amazing traders that I've met in this company is just, it's made me a much better trader. And that's the part I want to emphasize to people. So.
And then also too, I just want to add, guys, you know, you got Eric here, who's a 7-figure trader. I'm a multiple 6-figure trader, and we're using these products. Okay? And the only difference between you and us is that we've just taken a lot of trades, you know, and we trust in the indicator, you know, and that's it. I mean, if you look at the stuff, I mean, you could teach a 12-year-old, you know, to look at, you know, red, green lines, right? You know, the biggest part is the head game, you know, and just taking a lot of trades, get used to seeing, you know, get the eyes for it, you know, getting used to seeing it, doing the proper money management, man, and you can, sky's the limit. You know, sky's the limit.
It is. It really, this is life-changing for people. I've seen it just in my short period of time with iMarket Live. You know, it's fun to get the messages from people saying, you know what, I've implemented your strategy and I'm making money. And at this rate, I can leave my job in 6 months. And I'm like, wow, you know, I mean, we are affecting people that powerfully where they can take this and change their whole world and take care of their families and their loved ones and teach other people. And, you know, I'm a big believer. If you know something, teach others, you know, and that's
exactly. It's a great feeling. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, neither one of us need to do this. You know, we're doing it because we like to help people, and you really doesn't get any easier, folks. Just to summarize, right? You've got the harmonic scanner, and if you want, IML TV with the educators handing you trades on a platter. So you don't have to go and do all this analysis and find all this stuff. They're going to do it for you and hand those trades to you on a silver platter. What people struggle with is, all right, now that I know where the good trades are, how do I get in and when do I get out? And Eric just laid it out for you in a very simple way. And, you know, so you've got everything you need right there. You know, now just get out.
You really do. Yeah. I sit and I think of the years ago, and you can relate with this. 10 years ago, when what we had to do to go through to find a trade. I mean, we'd sit and have to scan, you know, hundreds of charts, time frames, this, that. I mean, I had endless charts. I mean, now you have programs out there. It's so simple. Bing, there's an alert. Take the trade, you know, or watch the trade, or what. I mean, good grief. And then, you know,
I tell this story all the time. You know, I said, you know, when I first started with IML, it actually used to piss me off because, you know, it took me 5 years to figure this out, and there's people coming in here and within 90 days making profitable trades, and it used to piss me off.
I know.
Wait a minute, I struggled. You need to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think of all the money you've lost and things, but then I look at it and I go, I can't get too mad about it. That's just tuition. I learned lessons, and then I took those lessons, and it's what's made me a good trader now is, taking all that little pieces and plugging them all together. And then I've got something that works, and then stumbling and being part of iMarkets Live. And all of a sudden you got those other little tools and you're plugging that all together, and you're like, wow, man, I've hit the golden goose. So it's been great. This has been a fantastic year and a half. I'm just telling you that much. So I've got a big smile on my face for it.
Yeah, I'm glad that how do I even stumble across it? Did you see one of my ads, or how'd you get into connecting with me on this? I don't even know how it happened.
It was purely coincidental. I was working as a director for another company, and I stumbled across you on Facebook, but I had also been watching Brandon Boyd's videos on YouTube. And so I saw you were such a marketing guru with the online efforts and these things. And I was like, that's my speed. I like that. And I remember I just had sent you a message on Facebook. I was like, hey, what about this and that? And you're like, yeah, go to this link, that, and boom, I was in. And then I went to Orlando to the convention with my dad. And that's where I met you the first time when we were there. And I just, fresh with this. I was like, I want to see what this is all about. As soon as I saw and I went to the convention, I was sold. I was like, man, this is a movement. This isn't just a company. This is a movement in changing people's lives. I'm like, I got to get away from everything else I'm doing and just focus on this. And I honestly haven't looked back. I just can't get over I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this for the price and what you get. Nothing even out there can even relate with this. And I just had to be part of it, and here I am, and I'm so grateful I am.
And this is about to get about 10 times better here real soon. So
yes, it is. Yep.
We'll just leave it at that.
We will leave it at that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but we'll leave it at that.
So Eric, thank you for putting this together with me here. I know it's going to help a ton of people. I'm actually going to integrate this, I think, into my stuff because I really think it's the easiest thing to do, and just try to help as many people as we can.
Hey, I'm all about it. So whatever I can do, I'm always here. You can always reach out to me. I'll be in. I leave tomorrow to LA. I'll be there for that event there. I'm basically doing this for 4 hours. I'm going to be teaching people from scratch all the way to getting the harmonics going to everything over 3.5, 4 hour period. So it's just going to be Q&A, talking, answering questions, and make sure everybody's on the same page and making money.
Maybe I'll
I want people to make money.
Show up there. Maybe I'll see what happens.
Absolutely, that would be fun. I'd love to see him and be around. So. As many people can be there, it's going to be a fantastic event.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot for your time. And
hey, you're welcome.
We'll chat soon.
Okay, buddy. Sounds good.